Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Folks, we got to come out guns a-blazing today. There is way too much talk about who the vice president's going to be in lieu of other talk. Why does that matter? Because there's an opportunity cost to time, right? If we waste every hour of the day talking about X and you're not talking about Y, and Y turns out to be more important than X, then you blew an opportunity. There was an opportunity cost, okay? We're not talking about, where most people aren't talking about, we're going to address today, the most important appointment. And folks, it is 100% not the vice president. I'm not telling you that that's not an important gig, but there is one position we should all be laser focused on right now. And that should be the topic of conversation. I got that. Finally, everybody's paying attention. Some big names up in court with Donald Trump today representing. Good for you guys. Hey, I've been raving about Beam's Dream Powder, the hot cocoa for sleep that I love. Get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino at checkout. We had some big names. I'll show you that in a minute up in court. Another conspiracy theory comes true. And watching this absolute shit show yesterday in court, just meltdown. I mean, seriously, is Michael Cohen being paid by the Trump team to be a quiet operative for the Trump team? I mean, that may be the real scandal. This guy, what a mess yesterday. Lot to talk about. Patriot Mobile, for 10 years, they've been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When I say only, trust me, they're the only one. Patriot Mobile is a proud supporter of the show. I'm proud to partner with them. I know you guys love them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all three major networks. Means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're supporting a company that believes in free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, Second Amendment, our military, veteran, and first responder heroes. They're 100% U.S.-based customer service team. They make switching easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. The team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Get a free month when you use the offer code Dan. Join me and make the switch today. PatriotMobile.com/Dan, PatriotMobile.com/Dan, or call 972-PATRIOT. Justin on the con today. Let's go. You almost forgot there, didn't you? I saw that. you didn't catch that? Justin's man in the con today. He is the Captain Kirk of today's show. So if any screw-ups happen in the chat, make sure you fillet him and Naki instead. So throw up that picture today of court if you don't mind. I said this last week. I'm glad everybody's paying attention. Every single day, prominent members of the Republican Party and the conservative movement better get their asses up to court and be seen in the background with Donald Trump. Why? In the chat. Campaigns are two things. If we don't know the answer, we can't be friends at this point. What are they? Yes, sir. Snapshots and sound bites. We know that. These are the snapshots we need. It's kind of caught mid-frame of Donald Trump. You'll see over his right shoulder. Speaker, but look at these guys zooming in and everything. You'll see Speaker Mike Johnson. Very good. We may not agree on everything, but when he does something right, good, okay? When he does something wrong, not good. You'll see Doug Burgum, governor of North Dakota, former presidential candidate. You see Vivek Ramaswamy. Of course, you see Eric Trump there. I heard Byron Donalds was there. Every single day, prominent Republicans take your ass. Here it is. You see this thing? The ass. You take it. You get it out of the seat like this. You see? This is the seat. You remove the ass from the seat. You can even bring the seat with you if you want. You come up to New York. You can put the seat right there. I don't really care. And you put your ass right in front of Donald Trump. Ass, courtroom, New York. Because we got to show these goons that we're going to be in charge soon, okay? You guys want to manipulate and screw with power? Be careful what you ask for, because that syrup of Ipecac, open up, kids. Here comes the spoonful. It ain't going to taste good. Good for you guys. I appreciate it. Let's see who shows up tomorrow. More. Cycle them through every single day. Every day. Prominent Republicans with big followings. Get your asses up there. Want to see everyone there. I like to see Rubio there. Get Ted Cruz there. Get them all there. I don't care if you like or dislike any of these guys. It's time to back up our candidate at this point. Speaking of that, I'm going to get to an important topic. This is something I've been dying to discuss. I'm going to be doing some segments over the next few days, kind of independent of the news. Here's one of them. It's going to be quick, but it's important. I'm not telling you we're wasting time on who the VP's pick's going to be, because the vice president's important. Trump is obviously going to be a one-term president at this point. He had his first term. The vice president is probably going to have a leg up on the next presidential cycle, but there's definitely going to be a primary. So the vice presidential pick is important. There's no doubt about it. But folks, there's been so much palace intrigue about the vice presidential pick. Have you heard almost any discussion whatsoever, the most important pick of all? What do you think in the chat that is? Far more important than vice president. Because number one, let me just make the case on why it's more important. I mean, I've told you what, why it's more important than the vice presidency. The vice president doesn't do anything. They're a tie-breaking vote. That's kind of important. But really, they don't do anything beside like advise the president. You see him around the White House, and everybody kind of treats him like another cabinet member, okay? And if the vice president turns out to suck, we can primary them in 4 years. What's the position? Yes, sir. Chatster's way ahead of me, Attorney General. You guys are so freaking smart. Some of you probably watched my locals video where I always do kind of a preview to the show. I give my locals crowd a little skinny before the show. Attorney General, hell yeah. 1,000 times more important. Does anybody in the room disagree? No, they do not, Evita. Evita agrees with me, I think. Attorney General, folks, the vice president doesn't really do much. The attorney general is going to have the power to stop this weaponization bullshit, fire all these people, and start over from scratch. So we have a justice system where you can say, hey, you know what? I'm pro-life. Am I going to be arrested tomorrow for that? We don't want to say that anymore. You can say to yourself, you know, Justin, the Martin County School Board's having a meeting tonight, and they're talking about this thing about, you know, sexual books in school. I'm going to show up. Justin's first thing he's going to say to himself is, I don't want to be on an FBI watch list, but he's going to go anyway. He won't be on an FBI watch list anymore because the attorney general is going to run the Department of Justice, and we're going to fire everyone. Folks, the AG talk should be numero uno. I'll leave it up to you guys on the palace intrigue of who it should be, because whenever I mention your name, somebody's got another name, and that's fine. I'm just telling you, it better damn well be a conservative, and it better be someone with freaking balls of absolute titanium. Steel's not even good enough. I don't even want steel. I need titanium. The balls have to be titanium at this point. Steel is no good. Iron, definitely no good. Titanium. Before I move on to another conspiracy theory defeated, a couple more positions. And these aren't in any specific order, but these are the ones I think are really important. Attorney General, number one, definitely. Vice President, obviously important. DHS Secretary. Can't screw it up, folks. CISA, that agency that was censoring conservative talk, that Center for Internet Security, that was under DHS. You better get a DHS secretary in there willing to clean house. I've got a few names there we could consider too. Secretary of Defense. If you're not going to unscrew this military disaster where we're teaching a bunch of Navy SEALs about Xi, Zhao, Zhou pronouns, then do me a favor, don't apply. We need a ball buster in there. SecDef. SecDef, ball buster too. Titanium, no steel, no iron. SecDef. Treasury. We're going to have to unscrew this economic disaster. We're going to need someone at Treasury who understands the peril we're in economically. I'm not telling you the other ones aren't important. These are the ones I see as the most important. Energy. Got to do something about oil and gas prices. Got to do something about the natural gas export ban. HHS. We got to fix the price fixing in medicine. Commerce. We're going to have to unscrew the Inflation Production Act and the CHIPS Act and all this stuff being run by commerce because it's screwing up the whole economy. And the VA. We got to take care of our vets. They're getting screwed over by these hospitals right now. That's my take. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Attorney General, number one. We have to refocus the conversation around that position. Vice President, you can get rid of in a few years. Besides the fact, if it's a tiebreaker, they're always going to vote Republican anyway. So, no, there's a lot of anti-Nikki Haley. I totally get it, folks. I get it. I totally understand. Everyone's got, it's fine. That's fine. That's what I love about the chat. The show's yours. The show is interactive. The reason we do a live show is that you're part of the show, like literally part of the show as you see yourself on the screen right now. And join in every day at 11 a.m. if you're missing us, watching us on demand. Okay. Unbelievable. Yesterday, yet another conspiracy theory, air quotes, goes down in flames as it's shown to be a conspiracy, but yet not theoretical. Guy, what's our record on conspiracy theories? Is there an update? He wants to say we are undefeated. We are at 100% telling you something is true and the left telling you it's bullshit. Here is Snopes. They're like to the left of PolitiFact. You're not going to get any more left than Snopes. Snopes makes like Mother Jones look like National Review, okay? Here's Snopes. They had to update their fact check on the famous, or infamous, I should say, Ashley Biden, who, as you know, is the daughter of Joe Biden, the infamous I took showers with dad diary, which is pretty freaking disgusting, pretty gross, if you ask me, pretty disgusting. I don't even like talking about it. They had to update it with a little note. On April 29, 2024, Snopes changed the rating of this fact check from unproven to true based on testimony provided by Ashley Biden that it is, in fact, is her personal journal and diary. Showering with dad. Kind of disgusting, folks. I'm just wondering here. Probably wondering too, wouldn't he? You guys think there's a breaking point ever? Is there a breaking point where Democrats are, I mean, think about it, right? With the conspiracy theories that have come true. Masks, vaccines, Spygate, Hunter Biden laptop, lab leak, the Nikki Haley Drape story, Mike Flynn called the Russian ambassador story, the CIA Carter Page story. Is there ever a point, the Ashley Biden diary story, chat guys, chat women, any point at all where Democrats are like, holy shit, man, this is really crazy. Like they haven't told us the truth about anything. And if I was listening to the Dan Bongino show, I wouldn't look like a moron right now. Is there a breaking point? Truth be told, folks, I don't think so. I'm going to tell you, I think Democrats love being lied to. I think they do. I think they absolutely love being lied to, as long as the lie feeds into their delusions about Donald Trump. I do. I don't think there's a breaking point. I'd love to hear your take on it, but I don't think there is. I think they actually enjoy being lied to, and they don't care at all. The fact that they look like morons, it doesn't bother them one bit. If it feeds their fix, if they're almost like meth addicts, they know it's bad for them, but they do it anyway because it just makes them feel good. I really believe that's it. That there's like a childlike need to be bullshitted to. I mean, look at what's happening in this absolute mess in court. You know, I've been through federal trials and I've been through local trials. I have never seen a case like this in my life. Trump's lawyer gets on the stand yesterday in this case. And I've never seen a case in my life where not only does their main witness, Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer, not only does he fail to prove the elements of a crime, ladies and gentlemen, they have not yet even alleged the crime. This is so Star Chambery and like medieval in its appearance. I'm actually stunned that even the anti-Trump lunatic judge with his daughter making money off this thing isn't like, I've got to salvage my legal reputation at this point and cut the losses. So just reassert what they're trying to claim. They're claiming Donald Trump falsified a business record, this NDA ledger payment, in furtherance of another crime. Forget the stormy bullshit, all this other stuff. I just want to get back to brass tacks, nuts and bolts here. The allegation is this falsification of a business record is a felony because they advanced another crime. Here's the kick in the nuts, folks. They have yet to allege another crime. If you're asking what crime, the answer is, I don't know. They're claiming it was an election violation, yet nobody said anything about an election violation. Here was a segment from Fox yesterday. Imagine this. Imagine you're in court and you're a juror. Assume they're Democrats, but let's assume at least one of them is not totally in the tank for Biden and is going to do their actual jury duty. Just one. Let's hope and pray we have just one. You're a juror in the courtroom listening to Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, someone you're supposed to trust. Someone, by the way, you have specific privacy rights with, delineated in our legal founding fathers and the way you're entitled to legal protection and due process. Your conversations with your lawyer are supposed to be yours. They're not allowed to get them on discovery. They are privileged. Attorney-client privilege. Liberals in the chat, you can look it up. Imagine you're on the stand as lawyer. You're a convicted perjurer. And then you watch this Fox segment. Then they out in court, thinking it works for them, that the lawyers secretly been taping the client, Donald Trump. And you think this makes this loser look good? Watch this. Check this out.
He was recording him. We have that recording. Let's listen together.
Correct. So I'm all over that. And I spoke to Alan about it when it comes time for the financing, which will be...
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So
Don't pay the kid.
No. I got...
Andrew, that little bit that we just heard, we don't have everything that was said in court, but as we get it.
Folks, can you imagine this? Put yourself in the position for a moment. I know we're all like knee deep in this. And it's funny, you see all this, because cable news has to run 24 hours a day, they have to fill time. So you'll get 100 different legal analysts and very smart lawyers. I'm not knocking them. But the thing about lawyers I found, I'm not knocking the lawyers, this is their job, is that they over-lawyer things. They tend to overthink things. And why is that an issue? Because you got to remember, folks, the people in the jury, outside of, I think, one person, are not lawyers. That's why no one wants lawyers in a jury. People over-lawyer things. You see all these legal analysts on TV, and a lot of them are really smart. We use some of their stuff, but they're not thinking about these things. Like I thought about it in my experience as a non-lawyer, but an investigator in these trials, which is, this just sounds bad. The people in the jury, if they're sane, and we got to assume some of them are, we got to hope, actually, I don't know, assume, but hope, are listening to this going, wait, this is the guy who's the bedrock of your case, who we now know has lied multiple times and secretly records his clients, and I'm supposed to take this guy's word for it? This case has been a disaster. How do you think this plays to the average American out there? I'm going to be following this thing the whole week, but folks, I suspect between the sound bites and the snapshots, Donald Trump's double opportunity every day to talk to the entire nation. He talks in the morning outside the courtroom, and he talks in the afternoon. One, before people go to work or in work, and second, during kind of drive time, where everyone's in front of the radio. This is devastating. This case has been an absolute disaster. It's been a trifecta of horribles. The snapshots are bad, as the Republican Party is now turning up in droves to support this guy. The 2-a-day press conferences while Biden, snots drip out of his nose and he's peeing himself all day are freaking terrible. And finally, your star witness has completely melted your case down, and he's the most unlikable guy in the courtroom. And wait, one last thing. I'm sorry, but I got friends who are in the parole business, probation and parole. They will tell you this. If you're making a parole pitch, right? A pitch for parole or probation, whatever it may be, and you're in prison and you want to get out on parole, whatever it may be, you better not be the last case of the day. Why? Because everybody's tired, they're hungry, they just want to go home, and most of them are pissed off. Just look it up. There's actual studies on this stuff. If you're one of the first few cases of the day, you stand a damn well better chance of getting whatever you wanted, probation or parole, whatever it may be. Why? Because the facts are different? No, because people are just in a different mood. When people are in a pissy mood and they think you're a jerk like this guy came off, it doesn't matter what you say. It goes right out the window. Look that up. You think I'm messing with you. All right, quick break. And on the other, folks, the implosion has been remarkable in the Biden team. Just remarkable. I'm telling you, I will reiterate this over and over again. They are getting ready to dump this guy. If Biden just gets at it, if Biden shuts his pie hole and Biden moves on, they will dump this guy tomorrow. There is zero chance if Biden agrees this guy will be the nominee. They're just waiting for him to even open the door to it. And I'm going to show you some liberal commentary confirming what I told you about a couple things. The damaging political narratives and the snapshots and sound bites. I'm not steering you wrong. You'll see what I mean coming up. Quick break here. Can your savings weather an economic storm? Think about what you put away for the future. Inflation can render your cash worthless. Real estate can crash. It has. You saw 2008. Economies built on a mountain of debt can fall like a house of cards, and they have. There are very few physical assets you can invest that stand the test of time. Gold is one of them. It's been a valued form of money for millennia. It's why people are flocking to it now, and why Birch Gold, the company I buy my gold from and have many times, is busier than ever. Through a little-known tax loophole, Birch Gold, B-I-R-C-H, lets you convert a retirement account to a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And the best part, it doesn't cost a penny out of pocket. To learn more, text DAN to 989898. Claim your free info kit on gold. Let me ask you this again. Can your IRA or 401k weather an economic storm? If not, call the people I trust. Birch Gold. Text Dan to 989898. Secure your savings today. Message and data rates apply. Folks, the implosion's been real. I need you to smile a little bit today because it doesn't do us any good to be miserable all the time about the status of the country. I know we're a mess. I get it. I'm totally with you, brothers and sisters, but I'm long on this place because we've got a lot of really good people here, man. You drive through what they call flyover country, you're going to find out that this country has far more patriots than it does losers and morons and zeros and liberal dipshits, okay? It's a good place full of good people. And in the end, God's not going to let us go down like this. I had said to you something a long time ago, and another prediction comes true. I had said to you, I don't know if any of you guys remember this story, but Jim, you may remember it too. We talked about it on radio. The election analysts a year ago who were assuring us that Donald Trump had no chance. Do you remember what they were saying? Folks in the chat, if you remember this show, let me know. If Audience Archivist Judy, if you're out there, if you can find me the show, I'll have Guy pull the clip. They were saying this. Trump has no chance. Trump lost in 2020, and he's losing suburban moms. He's not getting any of them back. There's zero chance Trump is going to win. I did an entire segment on this where I said, that's bullshit. The Trump coalition, the basket of voters that he's going to win with in 2024 is not going to resemble 2020 or 2016. He has added younger voters. He has added minority voters, and he has added Hispanic voters. If someone finds a clip, send it our way. We'll play it again tomorrow. It was obvious. And I remember the story I told. I told you the story about being a friend of mine was at the UFC, and he's involved heavily in the entertainment, rap business, and everything else. And he was having a conversation with a very prominent rap guy, and the guy was like, you have no idea how many people support Trump. Do you remember the story? The coalition is totally different. The election analysts have completely, entirely screwed this up. Listen to this guy on CNN, this clip that went viral yesterday. This guy, Harry Enton. And you can just hear the copium on CNN. They don't even know what to say, confirming what I told you was right. The coalition is completely different. They just should have listened. Check this out.
Yeah, the Trump coalition is changing. That's basically what's cooking here. This is at least one of the big reasons why. So this is among likely voters in all these battleground states we just spoke about. Back in 2020, 84% of the Trump campaigns, the Trump coalition was white. Look where it is now. It's 78%. The non-white portion of the Trump coalition, it was 13% in 2020. Look at this now. It's 19%. So the Trump coalition is becoming more diverse. And, of course, those Sun Belt battleground states are more diverse than the Great Lake battleground states.
You're looking at the Nevadas and the Arizonas here.
Of course. If you look at Nevada, Arizona, heavy Hispanic population, Georgia, heavily African-American population. Michigan does have some black voters in it, but Pennsylvania and Wisconsin are heavily, heavily white.
It's very interesting.
Were you here for that show, Justin? Do you remember? I mean, we've talked about it 1,000 times. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't forget this stupid like pat yourself on the back thing. It's not. That's kind of dumb. I'm just trying to make the point that I was long on America and the Trump campaign for a reason. I'm not stupid. I was just listening to people. It wasn't some like Dan Bongino deep election analysis. I told you a literal story that some guy in the rap business was telling a friend, you have no idea how many people support Trump. And then I would go out and I would hang out. My wife, who happens to be Colombian, and, you know, we would meet people and they would talk to her in Spanish and they'd be like, I'm a Trump. We never met anyone who was supporting Biden. I'm like, something's different here. We said to you. Now, this explains why you're seeing this bizarre electoral dynamic that's coming up. Let me explain this to you here, because you're going to see this on the map. You get these states that were very red at one point that are now trending blue, i.e. Colorado and Virginia. These are states you'd be like, Colorado? Man, there's got to be tons of, Colorado is some rugged like mountain men out there. How are we not winning Colorado? How are we, Trump is actually polling very well in Virginia, but how are we not up in Virginia, a traditionally red state 20 years ago? How are we not up by 5 points? Yet in Michigan and Philadelphia, we're up by 2 and 5 and 6. How is that? Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is the Trump coalition is different. A lot of black voters in Philadelphia, in Pittsburgh, in Detroit. They don't like Joe Biden. Black population of Colorado and Virginia, there's definitely a good amount of black voters, but Detroit, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, these are powerhouses in the state. They lose 5-6% more of the black vote there than these states. Hey, Johnny, it's over, man. Sweep the knee, bro. It's done. Here's another segment from CNN on another premise you and I have been working with, because we're here to study the tactics of politics, okay? We not have fun together, but we better damn well learn this game better than our opponents trying to steal the country from us, or we're wasting time. There's two things I keep telling you as well. The only political narratives, stories you need to worry about with regards to hurting Donald Trump are ones that change your pre-existing notion of who he is. But the same thing works for Joe Biden. I've been talking about how Joe Biden's in trouble because he ran as the stability candidate, the grandfather of the country, the avuncular figure, the caretaker, and how when Joe Biden got in office, we've seen nothing but chaos. That's a political story, the chaos story Joe Biden can't recover from because it's the total opposite of who he says he is. None of this stuff is hurting Donald Trump. None of it. He's painted himself as a victim of the deep state, and the deep state's made him a victim. Fareed Zakaria, everybody missed this. His clip went nuclear again, but they missed the whole point. He hits on exactly this. Joe Biden's in trouble because the political narrative is not what he told you. And he also points out something else we talked about. These poll numbers, polls have always worked against Donald Trump. So if these polls are off, Trump is probably up by more, not less. Watch this.
Here's my take. When President Biden made clear he was going to run for re-election, I had a sense of what his election strategy was and thought it was an intelligent path to victory. After the chaos of COVID and Trump, Joe Biden would stand for normalcy and a rising tide of good economic news. Donald Trump would divide Republicans, with significant chunks of the party wishing that someone like Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis would be their nominee. Meanwhile, Trump would unite and motivate Democrats, allowing President Biden to focus on the votes of independents and swing states who threw the Electoral College to Trump in 2016 and to Biden in 2020. I have to admit, none of this is playing out as I thought it would. Trump is now leading in almost all the swing states, but behind those numbers lie even more troubling details. As someone worried about the prospects of a second Trump term, I think it's best to be honest about reality. I understand that polls are not always accurate, but in general, they have tended to underestimate Donald Trump's support, not overestimate it. I doubt that there are many shy Biden voters in the country.
Sounds, moving on. Sounds like something we've been saying, correct? They may use different language, but don't ever forget the tactics of politics, and we're wasting our freaking time here. The way to hurt Joe Biden is to play into an opposing narrative than what he wants people to believe he is. He wants you to believe he's the stability grandfatherly guy. He's not. He's a disgusting, gross agent of chaos. That is the only narrative that matters. This Fareed Zakaria can't stand you. And he's telling you exactly what I just said. And all of these people going, the polling's wrong. He's right. I just said the same thing yesterday. It probably is wrong. Trump's probably ahead by more. That is not a reason, however, for you to dial your foot off the gas. Why? They're going to cheat. They're going to scam. And I'm going to show you what I mean coming up in a second, where Merrick Garland, our attorney general in name only, is basically admitting they're going to interfere in the election. So you may say, oh, well, Dan, we're up by 10. We can ease up. No. What if he's up by 10 and the cheating is like 3 or 4 points in swing states? The hell are you going to do? You still better get your ass out there and vote. Sorry. And bring 10 people with you. It's not enough. No chances are to be taken here. None. Snapshots and sound bites, folks. That's what matters. I'm going to show you this Merrick Garland thing coming up in a minute. And I want you to watch the Democrats just perfectly describe their own party and then pretend it's about Donald Trump. Quick break. Folks, you know Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the U.S. with more than 10,000 different kinds of plants and over 2 million happy customers in the United States. They have everything you could possibly want: fruit trees, palm trees, evergreens, houseplants, so much more. Whatever you're interested in, they have it for you. Find the perfect fit for your climate and space. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to order online, and your plants are shipped directly to your door in 1 to 2 days. And along with their 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee, they offer a free plant consultation forever. I have some trees outside, some fruit trees I got, also some house plants. I like to sleep with them inside the bedroom. You get the oxygen in the room. They clean up the air. Love it. I got them from Fast Growing Trees. Perfect. Tell them what kind of weather you're in. It's great. This spring, they have the best deals online, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get an additional 15% off their first purchase when they use code DAN at checkout. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com. Use the code DAN at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code DAN. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. For details, visit fastgrowingtrees.com. Great company. Check them out. And finally, Hillsdale. Folks, time is the most precious commodity. Do not waste time. You could be learning valuable things. And one of the most valuable assets, I'm excited, is at Hillsdale College. I love partnering with them here. They're offering more than 40 free online courses in the most important and enduring subjects. You can learn about the works of C.S. Lewis, the Book of Genesis, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, or the history of the ancient Christian church with Hillsdale College's online courses, all available for free. For free. Say it again, for free. I personally recommend you sign up for the American Citizenship and Its Decline course with the great VDH, Victor Davis Hanson. In this 8-lecture course, VDH explores the history of citizenship in the West and the threats it faces today. It's an amazing course. Threats like the erosion of the middle class, the disappearance of our borders, and the growth of the deep state, and the rise of globalist organizations. The course is self-paced. Start and stop whenever you like and wherever. Start your free course, American Citizenship and Its Decline, with Victor Davis Hanson today. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/Bongino to start. It's free and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/Bongino to start. Hillsdale.edu/Bongino. Excellent courses. Check them out. You won't regret it. Okay. By the way, snapshots and sound bites matter. As all this is happening, and Donald Trump, who, remember, the narrative he's always portrayed is the deep state's coming for you. And who's in the way? What has two thumbs and his own? This guy, Donald Trump. How do you think this looks? New York Post, Joe Bribin, the whole star-studded fundraiser featuring George Clooney, Julia Roberts, and Obama. So he's out there in Hollywood fooling around with the Ocean's 52 crowd and Barack Obama. While what's happening? Donald Trump and the entire Republican Party are fighting off the deep state in the dingy courtroom in Manhattan, and they think this works for them. Freaking hilarious. These people are nuts. They're delusional. And I love the fact that they are fanning the flames of their own political destruction. I want you to watch, though, how they justify this to themselves, because they're never going to stop. Anyone in the chat or anywhere else who thinks, oh, stop warning them, they're going to stop. You're crazy. These people are nuts. It's trying to talk a sociopath out of serial murder. It's not going to happen. They're crazy people. Here's Donnie Deutsch on MSNBC, a guy who's thrown away all human dignity. I want you to listen to him describe the Democrat Party to a T and all their tyranny, and then subsequently say, but this is Donald Trump, and this is what we got to caution ourselves again. This is why they keep burying this. Keep digging and digging and digging. Check this out.
For anybody, and Joe, you can tick off the list. We can all tick off the list, whether it's no longer a free election, whether it's a weaponized Justice Department, whether it's an independent Federal Communications Commission, on and on and on. We can go. When anybody says to me, well, that's not really going to happen because we've got checks and balances in the institutions, you're already seeing there will be no checks and balances.
Spygate, weaponization of government, targeting school board parents, targeting pro-life parents, FBI spying, dragnets, FBI pulling bank records, January 6th, ignoring the courts for student loans. All of the stuff he's talking about has already happened under Biden. You see how they justify this stuff to themselves? Oh, my God, we're preventing an even bigger evil than the evil we're doing now. By doing evil, we're stopping bigger evil. This is how these lunatics keep going. This is also how you wind up with this. This is the most important segment of the show. I probably should have done this one first, but there's so much to talk about. I want to rearrange the whole thing. It's being candid with you. This is probably the most important soundbite of the show. This is our Attorney General, Merrick Garland. This went nuclear yesterday for all the wrong reasons. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been telling you they will do anything to stop Donald Trump. That's why you should ignore the polls. I don't care if it says Donald Trump is up by 10. When you factor in shenanigans and cheating, you should consider every state a push. You ever bet? You know what a push is? It's when you break even and you pay the VIG, okay? Consider every state a push and vote like your life depends on it, because it might. Here's Merrick Garland basically openly admitting now that they're going to interfere in the election via a vast censorship operation. And unbelievably, he blames it on what yet again? You guessed it. Foreign interference, which is their excuse for everything. Watch this.
It includes our national security divisions and the FBI's work to protect our elections from national security threats, including malign foreign influence and cyber-enabled campaigns. The Justice Department recognizes the urgency of these threats, and we are prepared to confront them.
Okay. Time out here, because this is serious. This is the most critical portion of today's show. Folks, here's what I think he's going to do. I think they are going to desperately, obviously, try to cheat. None of that's breaking news. Like, hello, Captain Obvious, we get that. The problem they have is we've gotten really good at detecting what they've been up to through these cheating operations, Dinesh's movie, 2,000 Mules, the mail drop boxes, watching them. We've gotten very good at it. And folks, it's not that easy to cheat. It's easy to cheat. It's not that easy to cheat in mass if we're paying attention. And folks in the chat, are we? You're damn right we are. Everyone's got a video camera now. You've got this thing, your phone. That wasn't the case 30 years ago. What, were you walking around with a big camcorder on your shoulder? Everybody's got one now. Drop boxes are going to be watched. People know exactly what's going on. You see the same guy coming back 15 times, dropping the boxes off. Dropping, things, ballots off at 3 o'clock in the morning and then 4 and then 5 o'clock in the morning. We can reasonably suspect something's probably going on. So it's easy to cheat. It's hard to cheat in mass. They are terrified. What does that have to do with Garland? Well, voting's going to happen for like a month in this presidential election. It just is. And unfortunately, early voting has gotten ridiculous. It was designed to be a measure of convenience. It's now turned into an easy way to scam. Voting's going to go on for a month. I guarantee you right now, they are going to do their best to scam us. And what they're going to do is, as you guys pointed out, and it goes out on X and Truth and Facebook or whatever, the Attorney General, DHS, CISA, all these places are going to squeeze these social media companies like you've ever seen to make it all go away. The only thing we can do is overwhelm them. We can try and post stuff everywhere, but they are going to do everything in their power, and they're going to blame, this is a foreign interference operation. Oh, no, it's not. It doesn't matter. They're just going to make it up. Anything you say, irregularities, voter roll irregularities, they're going to point it out as a malign foreign influence operation. It's going to be wiped off social media. That's why I'm saying we've got to overwhelm them. I don't know any other easy way out of it, folks. They are going to do everything in their power to stop Donald Trump. Every single thing in their power. And Garland's given up the whole game right now. And you may say to yourself, isn't there a case in the Supreme Court? The Biden administration is actually being sued for this right now. They don't care, folks. Listen to Donnie Douche, what he just said on MSNBC. You don't understand. They think they're stopping fascism as they engage in fascism themselves. They will do anything. Vote like we're 10 points down in Texas, because we probably are. Not because we are, because they're scamming. And they're already setting it up right now. By the way, do you guys remember, I did an analogy on education versus healthcare and money flows a while ago. I do this all the time to show you how much liberals will always manipulate an argument and suckers and morons fall for it. Do you ever notice that liberals will always argue for more spending in a space if the money winds up in their pocket. And if the spending in that space winds up anywhere but their pocket, they'll say you're spending too much. Quick analogy for you. It's really important in relationship to this story because there's a shocking story in the free press. Have you seen it? About what the NGOs are up to at our border? I'm going to get to this story in a second. But whenever you want to see why liberals do and say what they do, always follow the money. Don't assume that these people are ideologues. They may be, but most of them are mercenary losers who are just doing a lot of this stuff to get rich. Trust me, I've seen it. I've done the investigations. I've written books on it. Most of these losers are just in it for the dough. Here's what I mean about education. You ever notice no matter how shitty public schools get, the liberals will always say, well, we need more money. We need more money. We need more money. Why? Because it gets into the teachers' unions' pockets and it makes its way back into Democrat campaigns. More money, the better. And yet when it comes to healthcare, a service where despite its problems, we're still the best in the world, despite its problems, what do they say? We're spending too much on healthcare. I thought you guys love spending. Why is that? They say that because healthcare dollars wind up in hospitals and doctors who aren't overwhelmingly Democrat. There are a lot of them, but not overwhelming. So it doesn't wind up back in their campaigns. Follow the money. Why do liberals like open borders? Well, they like them for a lot of reasons. Voting power. They talk about demographic destiny all the time. We've only played the video 1,000 times. But another reason is the cash, man. This is about money. Did you see this Madeline Rowley story in the free press? This thing was blowing up the internet yesterday. Nonprofits are making billions off the border crisis. Evita's mom, Rachel, has done amazing work on this. Rachel Duffy at Fox. She actually went in and was in one of these NGO-operated hotels, and they threw her right at her. They were like, no cameras. Why? What are you guys, embarrassed? This story, is this in a newsletter, fellas? Bongino.com/newsletter. Read this whole story. I'm not doing it even a shred of justice. She just talks about just one of these NGOs. Global Refuge, based in Baltimore, Maryland. In 2018, that Madeline Rowley notes, according to its federal disclosure forms, there's no disputing the numbers, right? The Baltimore-based nonprofit, this non-governmental organization, had $50 million in revenue. By 2022, its revenue totaled $207 million. $180 million of which came from who? You called it the government. The government. That year, $82 million was spent on housing unaccompanied children. That's a lot of money. Global Refuge also granted $45 million to an organization that facilitates adoptions as well as resettling migrant children. A lot of money in that immigration business, isn't there? Follow the money, man, all the time. I know we think like, oh, they're just ideologues, and they are. Most of them are straight up commies. But they would stop being commies if the money would dry up. Now do you see why, circling back to the beginning of the show, I told you we better start getting serious about appointments right now. I know the Trump team is. I'm not. Oh, but Dan, we don't want to be presumptuous and assume we're going to win. No. That's not going to. For the purposes of appointments, the Trump team's approving and vetting people right now. We don't have enough time from November to January to do this right now. All of this money coming from HHS grants and all this stuff making their way to NGOs. No more. These grants are coming from everywhere. If they don't stop, you will never stem the border crisis because there are people, read the article, there are people getting filthy freaking rich over this. I had to go back to this for a while. It was back when Tucker was on Fox. Tucker ran this segment on Fox, and the liberals went batshit crazy. Media Matters and everyone else. Why? The liberals don't want you to stop talking about this demographic destiny, open border stuff because there's so much cheese, cash in it. They're getting rich off it. They lost their minds. It's just a quick snippet from it. After that, when he ran this, everybody lost their marbles. Check this out.
Demographic change is the key to the Democratic Party's political ambitions. Let's say that again for emphasis because it is the secret to the entire immigration debate. Demographic change is the key to the Democratic Party's political ambitions. In order to win and maintain power, Democrats plan to change the population of the country. They're no longer trying to win you over with their program. They're obviously not trying to improve your life. They don't even really care about your vote anymore. Their goal is to make you irrelevant. That is provably true. And because it's true, it drives them absolutely crazy when you say it out loud. A hurt dog barks. They scream about how noting the obvious is immoral. You're a racist if you dare to repeat things that they themselves proudly say.
They lost their minds over that, not because they were trying to protect innocents at the border and young kids, and they weren't doing any of that. Bullshit. They were doing it because there's no money in legal immigration for them. None. You understand this is a double whammy for them? They get electoral power by expanding the population of states and then getting more electoral college votes to win the presidency and holding on to House of Representatives seats, because if they lose population, they lose members of Congress, and they also get super rich off it. Why do liberals fight for open borders? Because there's money and power in it. It's a story as old as humankind. Don't overcomplicate it. Oh, they want to help the younglings. They don't want to help anyone. They want to help their wallets, and they want to help themselves maintain power. That is it, folks. Everything else is total BS. And they're really good at BS, too. Did you see Peppermint Patty back in the news? What's that? I know you do. Peppermint Patty, who, by the way, is a far more skilled liar than the absolutely hapless Karine Jean-Pierre. She's coming up next. Peppermint Patty screwed up bad. So she's over at MSNBC now. You know, we got all this stuff going on about Republican books. We're not talking about that because I'm not wasting time attacking other Republicans right now. Here's Peppermint Patty. She's got a book out. And in the book, she claims that Biden did not check his watch at that receiving ceremony in Delaware when they were receiving the bodies of these fallen soldiers. Well, what was the problem? The problem is there are actual pictures of Biden looking at his watch. Folks, nothing they tell you about these people, nothing they tell you is real. Now, why would I cover a story like this? Here, you guys got the video? Oh, look at you. Oh, no, there it is. There it is. Checking the watch. Oh, I got to get out of here. Receiving the bodies of fallen troops in Dover right there. But Jen Psaki said it didn't happen. Now, again, why am I bringing this up? To tell you Jen Psaki's a liar? No, we know Jen Psaki's a liar. She's actually quite good at it. Folks, the most damaging political narratives are what? I'm going to pull this out of everyone if I've got to do my last act before I exit planet Earth. Ones that destroy your pre-existing notion of who a candidate is. Biden is running again as the grandfather, the caring older guy, the uncle-like figure. He's running as the caretaker, not the guy who, when we're receiving our heroes' bodies, is like, hey, man, can we get out of here? I got to check my watch. Now the story is back in the news again. Why? Because they screwed up. Psaki screwed up. They are making mistakes now. Why? They're getting careless. They're getting desperate. Now in desperation time, you're going to see them try to make up for it with what? Shenanigans. Merrick Garland, censorship, cheating. This is the time to double down. We've got to put them in a corner. I said I would bring up Karine Jean-Pierre because she really sucks at this. There was a press conference yesterday. Listen, I don't know. You guys know I hate these segments, man. I don't know if you guys, you may not, I love these segments. You may hate them. I totally get it. I don't like people taking my money. Stay the fuck out of my wallet. I'm sorry about that. Stay out of my wallet. It's none of your business. Stay out of my wallet. I grew up poor, man, okay? I grew up above a bar. We had like roaches everywhere and stuff. You didn't even want to turn the light on. Why? They'd be on the freaking wall. I remember my mother, she was with this guy she married later. My parents divorced. And the guy was like, hey, we got a big surprise. I went over to the house. What do you have? He had a big like rat caught in a thing. I'm like, that's a surprise? Like, that's not the surprise. This is a true story. My brother remembers it well. Like, what the hell is this? Like, that's not, I thought we were going to get like some kind of present or something like that. It was gross. Okay. I don't want to hear shit. I didn't grow up with any money. Make some money now. Okay, great. It's nobody's freaking business. I ain't giving the government shit. I don't owe you anything. Get off your ass and go to work. Why am I paying people not to work? Anybody have any explanation? Go to work. Go to work. Take your ass, go to work. It's really simple. Ass, work. Just like the asses in the Republican Party need to go and stand with Donald Trump. Take your ass and go to work. I don't understand why as a Republican Party, we can't be clear about this. We don't owe you anything. Why should we not pay higher taxes? Because we don't want to. I don't want to give the government money because they suck. There's your explanation. Everything they do sucks. You might as well flush it down a freaking toilet bowl, burn it. You might as well throw it down that, remember 300 when they kicked the guy down the pit? Throw your money. It's better off than giving it to the government. Karine Jean-Pierre has asked a question yesterday at a press conference. Apparently Warren Buffett, who I really don't care what Warren Buffett has to say either, like at all. Why would I give a shit what Warren Buffett has to say? I couldn't care. The oracle of him. I don't care. He's not my oracle. I don't even know this guy. I'm not related to him. He's not my uncle. He's not an investor. I don't give a damn about Warren Buffett. But he mentioned that we're going to have to cut spending and to get control of the thing. And we're going to have to do something about the tax situation. And of course, Karine Jean-Pierre parrots the same bullshit talking point ever, which drives me freaking crazy about the rich and taxes, because all the lazy bums want to steal your money. Check this out.
So Warren Buffett this month said that taxes will have to be raised to pay for the national debt. He said the government may want to decrease spending. So we've had announcement after announcement of taxpayer money being doled out. We've seen almost weekly now. Is the federal government spending too much money?
So let me just say a couple things that Warren Buffett did say that we certainly agree with, and I'll quote him: the wealthy are definitely undertaxed relative to the general population, which is why the president has a plan to make sure that wealthiest among us, the billionaires and big corporations, pay their fair share.
I'm so tired of this bullshit, man. I can't take it anymore with this bullshit. We don't owe these people anything. Folks, the evil rich people everybody claims to hate, I don't care if they're evil or not. Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't give a shit about Warren Buffett or anybody else. They pay the taxes. I don't know what this woman's talking about. Just because Karine Jean-Pierre has no documented skills whatsoever and cannot make a living outside of bullshitting people in politics, that's not my problem that she's a loser. And we got to stop this bullshit about, fairness and fairness, my ass. The tax code is totally unfair to people who work for a living. Here, you want the data? The U.S. already soaks the rich. So Biden's proposing all these new taxes again because of this fair share bullshit. Wall Street Journal. Well, he should examine the IRS data. Here's the most recent figures we have. Again, folks, the top 1% of Americans who actually work for a living, they reported 26% of the country's income. Liberals, that means they make 26% of the income. I know you're freaking stupid. I know you morons and dipshits, but try to process it. So they make 26% of the income, the top 1%. What do they pay in taxes? 45.8%. Effectively, 46 cents out of every freaking dollar is paid for by these evil top 1%ers. So listen, everyone can go out on the liberal side that wants more of my money and anyone else, because it's not just you. The top 10%, the top 50% pay basically all the taxes. It's everyone out there. And you can put your lips on my ass. I don't owe you anything else. I don't owe you anything else. We give money to charity, charitable donations, schools, organizations. We give cash away all the time. I don't need to give my money to bums in the government. Liberal bums who don't want to do anything and want to steal my money. It's total bullshit. Did you see this, by the way, with Karine Jean-Pierre? This is hilarious. Did you guys catch this one? So Jake Sullivan comes out. Jake Sullivan, the Hillary Clinton PP tape guy, the National Security Advisor. He comes out for this briefing on Israel yesterday. It goes on for, 15, 20 minutes. And Jake Sullivan, like Jen Psaki, is a very skilled liar. So the media likes skilled liars. Karine Jean-Pierre is just incompetent. She can't even lie, so she's got this binder. So Jake Sullivan leaves the room. This is hilarious. Karine Jean-Pierre walks in. This is short. It's only about 10 seconds. I want you to watch what happens. If you're watching the show on Rumble, watch the left side of the screen as a bunch of people, after Sullivan's done, realize they're about to just listen to a bunch of bullshit mumbo jumbo out of the binder. So they leave. Watch Karine Jean-Pierre, who's clearly embarrassed. She's like, oh my gosh, I have an effect on people. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Just not the effect you think. Watch this.
Thank you, Jake. Okay, I know. Oh, and folks are leaving right now. Okay. I have an effect on folks.
Yes, you absolutely. Whoa, we got that. Is this the first double sucks we've ever seen in the show? I didn't even know you could do that on both sides. Folks, you just witnessed something very special. I want to note 11:54 and 45 seconds. Take that note in the chat, folks. It's the first time it's ever happened. The first double sucks. That's Karine Jean-Pierre. Walks back in the room. Everybody knows it's bullshit time, and they all start walking out because they know it's a total waste of their time. She's just going to... You folks in the chat See, the best decision we ever made in this show, man, was going live. Hey, by the way, big announcement. I think it's time can we talk about some of the stuff coming up? Okay. So Thursday night, I'll be taping a podcast. If you watch me on Locals, you know this already, with Megyn Kelly, back on Megyn Kelly's show. That's a lot of fun. Patrick Bet David next week, I believe on Thursday. And we will be doing, get ready now, folks in the chat. I want you to mark your calendar because I'm counting on you to be there. I want to blow the internet up, and I want to make this the biggest thing we ever did. You ready? Evita's going to be with me. Me and Evita are going to be co-hosting on election night. We're not going to be doing the show at 11 in the morning on election day, our normal time. We're going to be doing the show, and me and Evita are going to stay on as long as we need to. Evita's probably going to start about 7 p.m. We haven't decided on the time yet, but we're going to be there from about 7 p.m. Eastern until they call that race. So please join us. I would love to totally blow up the internet. And listen, cable news people are great, and I love them and all, but nothing would make me prouder than if we could steal a huge chunk of what you would see as traditional cable news, and you come over and follow us. We would love that. We're going to be there the entire night. We're going to be tearing it up. We're going to have some guests for you. We may raid some streams. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be announcing that. So election night, please, please, please come spend it with us. All right. Well, I want to do this one story too before we go, Gavin Newsom, because it fits in with the tax thing. So cool announcement. Mark your calendars now. Election night, spend it with us. You folks in the chat, Anita, get that crew together. Spread the word, the McGroin Nation. Bring in all your friends, 10, 20 people with you. I want to see a huge crowd that night. You know what? Should I do that? I don't want to. Do I have to? Let me just play it. I just tease. Here's why. Showing you about the tax thing, how hilarious this is, right? So Florida just had a huge budget surplus. California, which was given a ton of money by the government, it's already pissed it all away. Here's Gavin Newsom asked the question like, hey, what happened to the surplus? Watch him blame every single thing, but actually spending the money people gave them in the government. Check this out.
We explained to Californians how we moved from a $100 billion surplus to such a significant deficit in just a matter of a few years.
Well, it's, we can explain it. $349 billion of unprecedented capital gains, 11.6%, when traditional capital gains is around 5.18% on average. It's almost double. So you had massive volatility. You have requirements under Prop 2, the GAN. You have requirements under Prop 98, which require that set aside. We use 93% of our surplus, which is, I want to be careful, either on the higher end or without precedent.
Gee, look at that. The Capitalist. Early estimates peg Florida with a $7 billion surplus. So strange how Florida, with a population not as big as California, but pretty big state, right? How Florida keeps running these mega surpluses. You know why? Folks, this is crazy. It's the craziest thing ever. You know what? They don't spend money they don't have in Florida. Holy shit, that's so crazy. How does that happen? Don't spend money you don't have. Matter of fact, spend less, you get a surplus. Gavin Newsom, it was the capital gains. Well, maybe you should even out the tax code so that rich people, those evil 1%ers who pay all your taxes, Florida, when they go broke, the whole state doesn't go broke. It's called actual fairness. Get the hell out of California as soon as you can. And by the way, inflation's getting worse too. I'll get to that tomorrow. PPI numbers were terrible. A lot more to talk about tomorrow. See you in a radio show in a little bit. Please download the Rumble app. Huge day for Rumble. Suing Google again. They've been up to no good with us. Check that out. Check that story out. Download the Rumble app. Join us every day at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Rumble.com/Bongino. Love to have you in the chat. 120,000 people. Thanks so much for showing up. I'll see you back here at 11 a.m. tomorrow on the radio show in a little bit.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.